Alright, fifth graders, for video 2, we are going to be adding and subtracting mixed numbers with differing denominators. So let's start with our first problem, 2 and 3/8, and we're going to subtract from that 1 and 1/4. Now, the first thing we have to do, boys and girls, we have to realize is that we are not dealing with two numbers, two fractions that have the same denominator. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to change that. Now, fifth graders, so one thing I want you to do is basically we're going to deal with these as two separate problems in this case, unless we have to borrow. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to figure out is where do 4 and 8 meet. Well, hopefully, boys and girls, you figured out they meet at 8. So what I can do is I can just pull this one over. So that's going to be 3/8. And then I have to figure out what this is going to be over 8. Okay, and 1, I took 4 times 2 to get 8, so it's going to be 1 times 2, and it's going to be, oh, I got to get rid of that stylus because it's horrible. Okay, so it's 3/8 less 2/8, and you're going to get 1/8. Okay, and then you're going to get 2 less 1, and you're going to get 1. So our answer is 1 and 1/8. Okay, so let's look at problem number 2. We have 4 and 1/5 plus 2 and 1/3. Now, again, what we have to do is we have to make sure that they are talking the same language. And again, I'm just going to draw a line down there so we know that we're dealing with two separate problems. Because essentially what we have is we have a adding or subtracting fractions with different denominators, and then a whole number problem, unless we're borrowing or carrying. So we have to figure out where do 5 and 3 meet. Well, they should meet at 15. And when I say they should, I know they will. What did I do to 3 to get to 15? Well, I times it by 5. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top because that's my multiplier. 1 times 5 is 5. Then I have 1/5. What do I do to 1/5? 5 to get to 15. I multiply it by 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 1 times 3 is 3. Now, boys and girls, I have the same language, so now I'm okay to add them together. So I'm going to take 3 plus 5, which is 8, all over 15, because that's our language, and then 4 plus 2 is 6. All right. Let's look at another problem here. We've got 4 and 1/3 less 2 and 7/15. Alright, first thing we're going to do is we're going to get them speaking the same language. It looks like 15 is our common language, so we're going to just transfer 7/15. And then we're going to make our denominator 15. To 3 to 15, I multiply by 5. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 1 times 5 is 15. Now, can I do this problem? I have 5/15 less 7/15. So my lower number, the number that I am going to subtract, is larger. So I can't do this problem as is. I have to go to my neighbor and borrow some sugar. Now I'm just going to cross this off because we've already dealt with this, just like yesterday. And then I'm going to take my 4 and it's going to become 3. And I'm going to borrow 15/15, which is 1 whole. So I'm going to add that to this, 15 over 15, and I'm going to get 15, and 15 plus 5 is 20. Now that I have my numerator is, oops, that was not the button I thought I hit. Okay, now that my numerator is greater than my denominator, I'm ready to subtract. So we're going to subtract 7/15. 20 less 7 is going to be 13 over 15. And then I have 3 less 2 is 1. Now, fifth graders, one of the most common errors that I've seen in this is that oftentimes we'll do all this work over here and then we'll forget the simple problem that's sitting right in front of us. So please, let's make sure we check all our answers and check and make sure that we have done everything. All right, next problem here. Let's, oops, I need my writing instrument. Let's go with 4 1/5 plus 2 1/3. Okay. Again, we treat this like two separate problems unless we have to borrow or carry. And we have to figure out where do 5 and 3 match. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you happen to be looking at a math book or your math notebook, you do have a multiplication chart there. So you can always check on that to make sure you have your facts right. And all you do is you go down to you can look on the 3 and or the 5 and check and see where they both are present. Or you can multiply. You can just look at what goes into both, multiply them together, and 3 times 5 is 15. So our common language is 15. Okay. Now what did I do to 3 to get to 15? I multiply it by 5. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. And then what I do to 5 to get to 15, I multiplied it by 3. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. And that's going to be 3. So my answer is, now that I have that, I am ready to add because I have the same denominator. 3 plus 5 is 8 all over 15. And then I can add 4 plus 2, which is going to give me 6 and 8/15. Now, that's it for video number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Video 3 is going to be very similar with more practice problems because it is something that's important. So, yeah. Pause the video, stop the video, and open up video 3.